If socialist countries are so great and capitalist countries are so bad, then why do citizens from socialist countries constantly flee said countries to move to a capitalist country like the United States? Let me explain why that happens. So let's take the United States as an example. The United States population only makes up around 5% of the total world population, yet it consumes over 25% of the world's resources. And ask yourself, how does that happen? How do you have a country that has only 5% or 1/20th of the world population be able to consume a quarter of the world's resources? For America to have and hoard so many resources, they would have to be trading, the other countries would have to be consistently trading at a deficit, meaning that they are giving America more than they are receiving. And why would they do that? Why would they constantly be giving more than they receive? Well, the short answer is that it's not entirely voluntary, and America has their ways to enact and force their will upon other countries. The first way is through military presence and force, right? America has the number one amount of overseas military bases around the world, at over 750 military bases placed in 80 plus countries around the world. To put that in perspective, the next top 4 countries with military bases is the UK with 60, Saudi Arabia with 21, Russia with 12, and France with 5. And America has over 750. And the reason for these military bases and for all of our incredible military funding and technology is not to spread freedom and democracy. It is for imperialism, and it is to, again, force America's agenda and will on these countries so that they can extract and harvest that country's resources for cheap. And if a country still doesn't want to give its resources up to America on America's terms and wants to do something crazy like even socialize its national resources, America will find any way it can to destabilize that country through its military or by using institutions like the CIA, where the CIA will fund terrorist organizations in that country to politically destabilize that country so America can go ahead and install a puppet leader, and then that puppet leader will go ahead and enact the will of the United States government. And if that doesn't work and America can't enact its will that way, what they will do is they will economically strangle that country through enacting embargoes and sanctions against that country so the country isn't able to freely trade with other countries, which again economically strangles their country, keeping them in poverty. And I just want to end with, America doesn't solely sabotage these countries just to harvest their resources for cheap, even though that is one of the benefits of them doing it. They ultimately also do this to make sure that socialism fails, right? They have a vested interest in making sure socialism fails, because if socialism succeeds, capitalism becomes totally obsolete. And the capitalists, the capital owning class who currently lives like gods on the planet, will cease to exist, right? Their class will no longer exist, and it will be just the working class being able to share the resources collectively. And you will no longer be able to have this class of people who can essentially rule the world and act like a god on the planet. So to sum up my point, why do socialist countries or citizens from socialist countries flee to capitalist countries? Because the capitalist country sabotaged their country and harvested all of their country's resources for their own gain, crippling the socialist country and leaving them in poverty.